Kyle Shanahan just finished his press conference. We're going to go take two on our post-game presser live. Welcome to the Krug Show. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week. They're soon going to open in Petaluma in 2026. We talked to Kyle Shanahan today, and of course, thanks to Claudette Arcades for sending us to Philadelphia. We're back from Philadelphia, as you can tell. I'm here at Levi's in the media workroom, adjacent to the media lunchroom. And Kyle Shanahan just spoke. We just talked to Kyle. Interesting day today. 49ers have a schedule where they normally would have the players in here for a full day, like 7 hours. Instead, Kyle spoke today at noon, and then they're not really gonna practice. They're just gonna do like a walkthrough. There's no media availability for practice. They'll have an open locker room later on today. And then, they're just trying to get the players more rest. I mean, the Niners played, obviously, they've got a quick turnaround. They had to come back from Philly. And where's Kev? Kev's not here. Kev's not here, but he's definitely behind the scenes working hard. But, they had to fly back from Philly. They got back at 2 o'clock in the morning, and so now they're playing on Saturday. Says, Larry, you look tired. I'm not tired, actually. I had a great night's sleep, feeling good, and we got back late night, late flight, but they didn't get back until late as well, and so he wants to give them a short day. So they're trying to rejuvenate and recharge their batteries as fast as possible. So instead of coming in for a 7-hour workday today, where the players are here all day, they're going to do a walkthrough, no practice, but a walkthrough. And then they'll have about a 3.5-hour total day from start to finish, instead of a 7-hour day. So that is the Niners' plan to try to freshen them up. As far as today, D. Winters, Jair Brown, Luke Gifford out for the moment. Trent Williams is out with a veteran / hamstring injury / Veterans Day. Dom Pooney, limited. Keon White, limited. Ricky Pearsall remains limited. Yatir Gross-Matos, limited. So that's the physical status of the team right now. Kyle was asked about, hey man, you have 9 playoff wins. You've got one more than your dad. Did you realize that? And he goes, I didn't realize it. He said, my wife told me on the plane that I had passed my dad. He's like, I'll have to talk to him about it later on this week. He was also asked about Eric Kendricks. And let's talk about Kendricks for a second, because Kendricks, the Niners wouldn't be still alive unless Garrett Wallow, Eric Kendricks, and Marquise Siegel, all three of those guys really stepped up. And Kyle was asked about Kendricks, what makes Kendricks really special? And he said he naturally kind of moves to the football. That's why, all these people that take, linebacker, running back, real instinctive positions in the middle of the field and attach this guy runs 4.3, this guy can bench this. It matters. Those traits matter. Believe me, the scouts look at all those numbers, and they all matter. But what matters a whole lot more is do you know how to play football? Period. Do you have good instincts for the game? Do you know how to play? As a running back, do you know how to hit the hole? Do you have pick and slide? Do you have the ability to make defenders make the first guy miss in space? It's instinctive. These are instinctual positions. Inside linebacker is absolutely an instinct-rich deal. So you could run 4.5. And I remember an old scout said to me, Krug, you know what? Don't look at, when you're scout linebackers, don't look at the 40 times. Watch the film, decide who you like, and then look at the 40 times. Because you want the fast 40s, yeah. You want the guys who can run like the wind. But if you don't know how to play linebacker and you have great speed, you know what that means? You're further away from the play. If you don't diagnose the play correctly and you're moving and flowing away from the action, you're no use to the defense. So, he says that Kendricks has got just naturally moves towards the ball. He said Fred Warner's like that. The guys who have the instincts for the position can naturally move towards the football. And he's got tremendous what we call feel, a lot of feel. Larry, are you in a detention center? No, I'm just in the bowels of Levi Stadium in a cement room. The rest of the media is about 30 feet away from me in another room, getting ready to eat lunch and writing their stories about this press conference that just happened. As far as George Kittle, he's in good spirits. He's going to most likely have surgery on Wednesday, which means that he probably will not be able to go to Seattle for Niners Seahawks on Saturday. But he'll be there in spirit. But obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to George. What a crushing loss that is for the team. With Mike Tomlin stepping down today, Shanahan, Sean McDermott, and Sean Payton are now tied for the second longest tenured NFL head coaches, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. Shanahan was hired in 2017. It's only 2026, and he's already the second longest tenured coach in the league. That tells you there's an awful lot of turnover in this league. By the way, Philly fired their offensive coordinator today. So, what can you say? The Niners are probably a big part of that. The way their defense shut down this Philly offense. And you know what? Instead of blaming the Philly coordinator and blaming Hurts, how about credit Garrett Wallow? How about credit Marquise Siegel? How about credit, Eric Kendricks? How about credit Keon White? How about credit, Robert Saleh, the defensive staff? I mean, those are the guys that really deserve the credit. Instead, we're in a negative world, so nobody gets credit, everybody gets blame. And so the Eagles today are, getting all this blame nationally, and yesterday all this national blame. How about credit your opponent for having a great game plan and winning the game? Shanahan was asked about the play after Kittle got hurt, where Purdy just layered a perfect ball right over the linebacker, right in front of the safety, hit Juwan Jennings, who then zigzagged down the field. It was a huge play in the game. Why? Because the Niners had just lost Kittle. They knew it was a serious injury. They probably knew it was an Achilles and knew he was done right there. And the fact that the next play was this play and Brock just perfectly layered it in there. And Shanahan was asked about this. Is Brock the best at this, layering the football? And he said, you know what, Matt Ryan was really good at it as well. But he said, this is one of the things that makes Brock really good. He can layer that ball over the linebacker in front of the safety, and he can throw a touch. You got to play on time. Timing is everything. Arm strength matters, don't get me wrong. But layering the football, give you an example for Niner fans who remember Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick was great as far as he had great arm strength, great foot speed, incredible athlete. He couldn't layer the ball. He could not layer the ball at all. He couldn't get it over the linebacker in the flat. If he had a running back in the flat, there was a defender in between. Could not layer it over his head and get it to the back. Brock Purdy makes that look easy. He does it routinely. And I thought that was a great play by Brock. It was a great play by JJ, and it really was a great play because it made the Niners kind of snap back into it. It's like, George is out. Oh, my God. Oh, wait a second. Purdy just made a big play to JJ down the field. Kyle was asked today about the Super Bowl odds. Are you aware that the Niners have the lowest Super Bowl odds of any of the remaining playoff teams? And he's like, no, I don't focus on that. I'm not focused on the spread. I'm not focused on the odds. He didn't want to get into that, but he's like, no, I got enough to focus on. I asked him, what makes Mike Macdonald's defense such a tough defense? And I said, is it the strength of their front four? Is it the speed of the second level defenders? Is it the playmakers they have on the back end? Is it Macdonald and the fact that Macdonald schemes it up so well? And Kyle gave me a great answer. He said, well, in a way, it's all of it, right? It's all of it. But he's like, really what it is they have great personnel that's ideally suited for their scheme. And they've been in this scheme now for 2 years. So now you've got good players, really talented players, that fit this scheme to a T, that are just perfect for this scheme. The Nick Manwaris, the Drake Thomases. They fit this scheme, hand to glove. It is just a perfect fit. And they've been in the scheme for a couple years. So then you mix in the fact that they got a front four that's really, really strong. They got a second level defender group that I think is the fastest in pro football. Maybe second to Houston. Houston was amazing last night. Um, then it allows them, because they have such a great active front four, to play in a way where they can go with light boxes. They can keep two safeties deep and just say, hey, we're keeping these guys here as a deterrent for any kind of play over the top, and we're going to make you play inside of like a 12-yard box. And then we have so much second level speed that anywhere you throw it, the thing that stood out in that Week 18 game is no matter who Purdy hit, there was a Seattle defender who had already taken 2 or 3 steps in the direction, and there was no run after the catch ability at all. The windows were tight, but the run after the catch ability was nil in that game. Shanahan said that he didn't feel like his team played well in that game and that they could play better. And we're going to see on Saturday in Seattle if they can play better. By the way, I have made my plans. I will be in Seattle on Saturday for the game. I don't think Kev's going to be able to make it because he's got other things going on this weekend that he's got to attend to. But I will be in Seattle. So there are a lot of you who have sent me notes. Hey, Krug, you got to go to Seattle. It's good luck. You were on the road in Philly and they won. You got to go to Seattle. I am going to be in Seattle. So Seattle, wait for this. No, I'm just checking. The Krug Show on the road in Seattle, and we'll do Niners Nightly, or we will do 49er Forecast on KBR also on Saturday from Seattle. So looking forward to that. Kyle mentioned how they have to be a lot better in this game on third downs. Third down is the money down in the NFL. They have to be better on third down. That's going to be a big one. You got to get into manageable third downs, and then you got to convert on third downs. They weren't able to stay on the field. The one thing with Seattle, they have so much defensive talent and personnel, and their scheme is good. So what can't you do? You can't let them dominate the time of possession. If they dominate the time of possession, then their defense is out there and they're always fresh, and that's a problem. You can't have this defense, which is enormously talented, out there when they're incredibly fresh. Nick Martin, he was asked about Nick Martin. He said Nick Martin is still in the concussion protocol. He will not be playing on Saturday. He's not ready to come back. Fred Warner's window has been opened. So there's a chance that Fred could come back in this game. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's more aiming for the week after. But Fred Window's practice window, 3-week practice window, has been opened. So they now have 3 weeks to activate him from to the active roster, and we'll see. I don't think it's going to be this week, but I think it could be next week. So there you go. Nick Martin still in the protocol. Got to be better on third downs. Fred Warner's window is open. We got that. Today's just a walkthrough. Not going to be a very long day for the players. Kind of a shorter day. So there you go. The Niners are going to try to do everything in their power to rest their guys, prepare their guys, and show up ready to rock and roll on Saturday in Seattle. The place is going to be loud, but Seattle's been better on the road. The 12s and they're all this, we're dominant, this and that. Their fans have not been. It has not been a house of horrors. It has not been a place where it's like, oh my God, you got to go to Seattle. It used to be the toughest place to play. Brock Purdy has never lost there. Did I say that correctly? Brock Purdy has never lost in Seattle. So we shall see what it's going to be. We will tonight on Niners Nightly, the great Todd Husak is going to stop by at 6 o'clock, and we'll break down this thing in depth. We'll get his thoughts on Niners Eagles. We'll get his thoughts on what the next go-round, the third edition of 49ers Seahawks is going to be like. But huge day for the 49ers. For them, today is installation day. So they install their plan. Shanahan was asked, how you feeling? How you feeling right now? He said, I feel great. He's like, I got my Crocs on. I'm feeling great. But the reality is that they've grinded. these coaches do not sleep. From when that Philly game ended, as soon as they fly back, they get the film, they're watching the film, they're putting that to bed, and then immediately they're on to Seattle. And I guarantee you, all the Niner coaches are exhausted today. Now, the key is the players. You got to keep the players fresh as possible, and that's what they're doing today. 3.5-hour day, walk through only, no practice, not a 7-hour day like normal installation days. They're going to lean on, I'm sure, the players to be in their iPads and looking at the plan and looking at the film a lot on their own in the evening this week. These teams do know each other really well. That's probably the advantage of playing on a short week here, is that you are playing a team you've already played twice. You're playing a divisional opponent that you know pretty well, that you've thought a lot about in the offseason. So it's on. Niners and Seahawks Saturday, and I'll be there in Seattle for it. And we'll do a ton of videos leading into it and a lot of breakdown on game day. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. Locations in Embryville, Corte Madera, soon opening in 2026 in Petaluma. They're open 7 days a week. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. Thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades, who's a great follow on Instagram, at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find a location near you, for sending us to Philly. Really appreciate that. Thanks to Sleeper, 49er football season, all season long, presented by Sleeper. The links in the description, terms and conditions do apply. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of The Krug Show as well. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show. On the road, back from Philly, on our way to Seattle. Go Niners.